Hello class, today we're going over lesson 4.3, how to use linear models to make predictions. So we got three big definitions for us today. The first one is the slope. So the slope is kind of like the steepness of a line. It's often known as a rise over the run. We can find the slope by finding the change in the y-axis over or divided by the change in the x-axis. And slope is often represented by the variable m. So the y-intercept. The y-intercept is the point on the line that crosses the y-axis. The y-intercept will be written as a coordinate 0, y, where y is the y-coordinate that passes through the y-axis. The y-intercept is represented by the variable b. And lastly, we have slope-intercept form. It's a formula that allows us to basically write the formula of a line. So slope-intercept form is y is equal to mx plus b, where m is our slope and b is our y-intercept. Okay, so going into this equation or into this problem here. So we want to find the slope and the y-intercept of the line. So remember, the y-intercept is the point that crosses the y-axis, right? So for our y-intercept, we just need to find exactly where we cross the y-axis. Remember, your y-axis is the vertical one, this right here, right? So we see this point crosses our y-axis. So since that is at the point 3, our y-intercept would be 0, 3. For our slope, we want to calculate the change in the y-axis divided by the change in the x-axis. Now, I know that sounds really weird, but basically what you got to do is you have to find yourself a point on this line. Like, for example, we could see a point right here where it clearly is crossing between 2 points. And we are going to go up and over until we find another point. So there's another point right here, right? And that is clearly crossing on a T. So what we got to do is we got to count up 1. Oops, that's terrible, 1 there. We got to count up 1, and then it's going to be over 1. So this right here is 1. This is 1. So our slope can be written as 1 over 1 because you rised 1 and you ran 1. So rise over run, we go up 1 over 1. So our slope is 1 over 1 or just 1. Now, if we wanted to put this into a slope-intercept form, what we would write, remember, our slope-intercept form says y is equal to mx plus b. So this is our m, this is our b, so it would become y is equal to 1x plus our y-intercept here is 3. Or we could simplify this here to just y is equal to x plus 3. And that would be the equation of this line. Okay, so let's get into our goal for today. So today we are going to learn to use the slope and the y-intercept of a trend line to make a prediction. So basically we're going to look at our trend line and we're going to decide based off that what kind of predictions we can make for the graph. Okay, so first example here. So we see that we have a graph here and it talks about families' grocery cost per week. Our x-axis has to do with the number of children and our y-axis has to do with the amount spent on groceries. So basically, we're finding out the effect the number of children has on the amount spent on groceries. All right, we want to predict the difference in the amount of groceries between a family of 2 and a family of 5. So notice right down here, we have our slope-intercept form, right here. Y is equal to 21.08x plus 85.15. So what we can do here is we can plug in our numbers into the slope-intercept form to calculate what a family of 5 would eat and also what a family of 2 would eat. Okay, so what we got to do then is we have to plug in for x our number of children. So our first one here is 2. So I'm going to replace my x with a 2. And again, this is because we want to calculate how much 2 children are buying here. So I think the easiest thing to do here is go on over to our calculator. We're going to do 21.08 times 2 plus 81.15, and we are going to get 123.31. So that means that they're spending $123.31 on 2 kids. Okay, so ignore this question for now. I just need more space to work on this. So now to calculate for 5 kids, we again are going to have our slope-intercept form here. So this time, instead of our x being 2, our x is going to be 5. So we're going to replace the x here with a 5. All right, so now we just need to multiply here. 21.08 times 5 is equal to 105.4 plus 85.15 is equal to 190.55. So this is how much money 2 kids cost. This is how much money 5 kids cost. So obviously, if we want to find the difference here, we just need to subtract. So 5 minus 1 is 4. 5 minus 3 is 2. 10 minus 3 is 7. We'll have to borrow here, so this will become an 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. And 1 minus 1 is 0. So the difference in the cost here between these two was $67.24. $67.24. All right, so I need to erase some of this here to make room. So if you guys need to pause the video to get this down, I would recommend that. But I'm going to go ahead and erase this all. Okay. So how many children for a family that spends $169.47? $169.47. Okay, so again, let's start with writing our slope-intercept form out here. So we have a 21.08x plus 85.15. Now this time, instead of plugging in for our x, we know the amount of money, right? And the amount of money has to do with our y-axis here. So now I'm going to write, instead of y, I'm going to write 169.47 is equal to 21.08x plus 85.15. Now our goal here is to solve for the variable x. So we got to draw a line straight down through here, and we're going to have to cancel out or do opposite operations until the only thing left is x. So we'll start out here by subtracting an 85.15 from both sides. Okay, so on this left side here, we're going to get 23.48. So 84.32 is equal to 21.08x. To cancel out multiplying by 21, we're going to divide both sides here by 21.08. Now, I do need a calculator for this one here because I don't know that off the top of my head. 84.32 divided by 21.08 is going to give us the number 4. So this says x is equal to 4. All right, now it's just after doing our division here. And then let's check. If we go over to our graph here, we go over to x is equal to 4. Does this kind of look like it settles in at $160 here, this line? It does about to me, right? That seems about right. That should be a $60 there in between 140 and 210. Alrighty, everybody, so that was his first problem here. Make sure you're getting this all down for our 2 examples. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. And again, remember, this says 4 children. So it was asking us how many children. So I'm going to go ahead and erase this, and we're going to get on to our next problem. All right, so example, how long will it take to fill the tank with 375 gallons? Alrighty, so let's go ahead here and start with writing our formula out. So our formula is always going to be y is equal to mx plus b. Remember, m is our slope and b is our x-intercept. Our y-intercept. Okay, so if we come over to our graph here, we can clearly see that right at this point right here, that's where our line is crossing the y-intercept, right? Now, it's not exactly on there, but I believe this point right here is supposed to be, since we're counting by 30s, we're going 0, 30, 60, 90, 120, so on and so forth. This point right here looks to be right about 20. So we're going to say b is equal to 20. Or if we're talking about this as a coordinate, this would be 0, 20. But what's important is that 20 right there. All right, so now we got to find m. Remember, m is our slope, or our rise over our run. So we have to first identify 2 points here. So one of the points will be this one right here because it's clearly crossing on a corner. And then let's make our other point just right about, let's say, here. All right, so we're going to need to count how much we're going up and how much we're going over here. So if we're going up 30, 60, 90, and we're going over 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that right there? Did I do that right? 90 divided by 4. Well, I think I chose the wrong numbers here. I think I should have chosen this number right here to where we're going up 1. Yeah. 30, 60. Oh, let's see. Let's just choose these 2 points right here. These are closer. So let's choose this point right here and this point right here. Okay, so when we're going up here, we're going up from 30 to 60. So that would be 30 right there. And then we're going over from 1 to 2. So this distance going up is 30, and the distance going over is 2. So our m would be 30 over 2. Our rise, we rose 30, and we ran 2. So 30 over 2, which is equal to 15. All right, so let's go plug this into our formula here. We have y is equal to our m is 15, so 15x plus our b is 20. Now it asks us how long will it take the tank to fill with 375 gallons. So what we got to do here is we got to plug in for y 375. So we're going to get 375 is equal to 15x plus 20. Start off by subtracting 20 from both sides here. We're going to get 15x is equal to 5 minus 0 is 5, 7 minus 2 is 5, and 3 minus 0 is 3, so 355. And then we'll divide both sides here by 15. And we're going to get that x is equal to 355 divided by 15 equals about 23.6. All right, so what does that mean here? It means it's going to take about 23 and a half minutes for it to fill up with 375 gallons of water. So it's going to take about 23 minutes, maybe 24 minutes if you want to round. We'll round up here to 24. But it says we're going to take 24 minutes to fill up with water. And if we look at this trend, the way this is progressing, that does look like it's going to be about accurate. We're at 180 here, so this would be what, 210, 375 would be way up here. So our line would be way the heck up there. It would make sense that it would be about in the 24-minute range. Okay. Going on to our last example here. What could be the temperature after 5 minutes? So again, we want to find our slope-intercept form here. Let's start by writing down our formula, y is equal to mx plus b. Where is our y-intercept at? Well, it looks to me like it's right here. If we see this graph, we're counting 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So we're counting by 5s, meaning this b here is equal to 35. Our slope is our rise over our run. Notice here this is a negative slope, right? It's a negative association. So let's draw a point here. We can also draw a point here. And let's calculate our slope here. So we're going to go rise over run. So we're going to go up 5, 10, 15. So our m is going to be equal to 15 over, and we're going over 1, 2, 3, 4. So 15 over 4. All right, so we rised 5, 10, 15, and we ran 1, 2, 3, 4. So 15 over 4. All right, so going to our formula here, we have y is equal to 15 fourths times x plus 35. So that means we could plug in for x here. We want to plug in 5 minutes. So we get 15 over 4 times 5 plus 35. So this will give us the answer 15 divided by 4 equals times 5 plus 35. I think I might have done something wrong here. Oh, I know what I did wrong, guys. Okay, so let's look at this slope, right? This slope is going down, right? The slope is going down. So this m needs to be a negative. This m should be a negative here. That was the snake I made. Since our slope is decreasing, we actually didn't go up any, and we went down, right? So this should be a negative 15 fourths. My bad there. Okay, so 15 fourths times 5, and then minus the 5 there. We're going to get it. So that means that y is equal to 16.25. And if we look over at 5 minutes here, it would be right about here, right? And I could definitely see that this would be around the 16.5 range right there, 16.25. Alrighty, so that means after 5 minutes, it would be 16.25 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so in conclusion today, we learned about y-intercept slopes and slope-intercept forms, and we also used our trend lines to make predictions. So don't forget to write your 2-sentence conclusion, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions on this one, so make sure to ask me them tomorrow. I'll see you guys on Friday. Peace out. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.